Bonjour, je m'appelle McLeod. Je suis quarterback for los Alouettes. I'm very happy to be here. I'm on day 3 of my Duolingo journey in French, so please pardon me, but I promise I will get better as I go.
That's a really good start. Thank you, McLeod. On va procéder aux questions. Simplement demander aux médias de lever la main et puis on va vous permettre de poser des questions. Please raise your hand and you will be able to ask a question to McLeod. Première question. Go ahead, Mark Ledbetter, then Eric Leblanc. Mark, please.
Yeah, McLeod, thanks for taking the time. Welcome to Montreal. What do you feel that with your experience is going to add to the Alouettes and to the quarterback core that they're building towards?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the great thing about joining Montreal, I'll take it back last year. Last year, I joined a team where we were trying to build a winning culture, and I'm so proud of the work that I did last year. Unfortunately, the wins weren't there, but it was about building a winning culture. Here, it's totally different. Montreal has established a winning culture. They've done that for a number of years. So the first thing, my job is to understand that culture and join that culture and build it. And then be in support of Davis and support of winning ball games. So I think the first step for me is to learn. And then the second step is to add my experience and my talent to continue the winning ways that have been going for the last 2 years.
Now you've experienced Percival Molson on the other side of the ball. What's it mean to you having the enthusiastic fans that they have here in Montreal when you get to take the field?
Oh, it's awesome. It's awesome. The times I've gotten to play in Montreal have really been a lot of fun. I remember even before COVID in 2000, I think that was 19 when I played in Montreal. It was one of the most electric atmospheres I've ever been a part of. You guys had an amazing DJ going at the time, and it was truly a club atmosphere at the stadium. So it's always a good time in Montreal. The fans always show up. They show out. It's a fun place to play. Walking up that mountain is a unique experience on the way to game day. So I'm very excited to be a part of it and be a part of it on the home side rather than going in and facing those noisemakers from the outside.
Thank you, and we'll see you come springtime.
Thank you.
Merci. Maintenant, Eric Leblanc, suivi de Doug Elevin de CBC.
Hello, McLeod. Thanks for doing this. What do you think Davis Alexander will be able to learn from you compared from Cody Fajardo?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. The great thing about when I talked with Davis last week, and I expressed to him how much I'm there to help him and I'm there to support him. But I think the first thing that we have to do is we have to figure out who we are as people and get to know each other. I think that really great teams build good chemistry, and that's good chemistry on the field, but that's also good chemistry off the field. What do you like to eat? What makes you laugh? What makes you sad? What makes you cry? What makes you happy? So I think the first step between me and Davis is to figure out, how to hang out and spend time with each other. So we have plans hopefully in the next couple months. We're both down kind of West Coast-ish. I think he's in Arizona. Hopefully spend some time together. And then, I've never met a quarterback that could outthrow me. And that's down south, this border, above the border. And so I've been exposed to a lot. I've been around Tom Brady. I've been around Kaepernick. I've been around so many excellent quarterbacks that I've picked up little pieces along the way. So I plan to share everything I can with Davis, and everything, every experience, every mistake I've made, every success I've had. He has access to that. Well, when you sign your name on the line, you become part of a team, and it's no longer I, it's a we. So the first thing is to get to know him, and then to figure out what I can add to him and what help I can support him with.
That's quite interesting. It's also impressive to see all the traveling that you had to do over your career. What makes you still passionate about football at your age?
Oh, that's a great question. I love the process. I truly love the process. One of my good buddies, who's a very high-profile quarterback coach down here, relates the overhand throwing motion to the elevation of the prefrontal cortex and the brain. So he goes all the way back to when we were coming out of, caveman, we started using tools. We were able to throw our spear overhand, and it allowed us to kill bigger and bigger animals. And that allowed us to consume more protein, build more grass. And actually, his theory is that it correlated with the development of the prefrontal cortex. So the overhand throwing motion is the highest level of human performance. It's an art form. So I think I start with the fact that I still love to go to the field and throw a football. So the day I don't love doing that is the day I got to start hanging it up. And then on top of that, there's no more challenging position in sports than playing quarterback. So there's nothing more fun than controlling an entire game with your decision making and your ball placement and your controlling of the huddle. So until I'm not able to do it and I don't love going to the field and throwing a football, I think is the day I want to hang up, but that I haven't got to that day yet. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thanks a lot.
Prochaine question, Doug avec CBC, suivi de Frédéric Daigle, ensuite Philippe Asselin et Pablo Herrera.
Hi there. So we understand the situation that you're coming into with Davis being kind of the anointed #1 quarterback of this team. So I'm just kind of wondering, you could have maybe targeted a different spot where you'd have more of a path to be the #1 guy right away. Why did you decide that this was the right place for you, given the situation here?
I think Montreal chose me, like in when they made the trade for me, right? So I had to appreciate that. And then having conversations with Coach Moss and AC and Machocha and what they've been building there, right? I think that talking with some of the players and you don't really have an idea of what that culture is on the inside. And when I got the trade and I started having the conversation with coaches and players, the culture that Coach Moss is trying to build there is pretty elite. And so when you have the opportunity to join a winning culture and a good group of men and a brotherhood that's coming together and winning ball games and doing it in a really fun style, I think that's a special opportunity. So I think the first answer is that I think they chose me, and then the mesh seemed right. That you can't ask for a better coaching staff and adding a winning culture. It's kind of like I mentioned earlier, very different than what I was dealing with last year. And again, I'm so proud of the work that we did last year. And I think they're going to have a lot of success back there. And I'm very excited for all my brothers that are back there. But having an opportunity to join a winning culture and a really dynamic locker room is a special opportunity.
Thank you and welcome.
Frédéric Daigle, suivi de Philippe Asselin, suivi de Pablo. Ton micro est coupé.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you, McLeod, for doing this morning. Frédéric Daigle from Canadian Press here in Montreal. A bit along on the same line, but with your experience, with the success you've had in this league, what puts you maybe more in mentor mode than chasing mode to get the #1 spot?
Yeah, right. That it's been mentioned, right? Davis is the guy in terms of he's the way the organization is going. So it's going to be a fun opportunity to kind of support him in that. And I think that's like I said before, it's first about getting to know him and how he wants to be supported and how he approaches the game and what can I add to that? What does he know? What does he not know? And obviously you see the potential there from the outside, but then getting to know him as a person will be fun as well. Getting to know the locker room and what has made that team win so many games in the last couple of years. Getting to know the coaching staff, getting to know the city. I don't think you can ask for a better city to live in Montreal from what I hear. So I'm excited for all aspects of that. And then to the mentor mode, I think the first step is to get to know him as a person. So that's to be determined and process.
Talking about the city, what is your plan? Is the family going to move in with you when the season starts? Do you have already a favorite spot in Montreal? What do you know about the city?
I don't know much, just the times I've been there to play away games, right? And that's a day in the city and you really just want to get your feet up and don't want to walk around too much. But I will say that Montreal is one of the places that it's hard not to walk around and not to go. So you walk out a couple blocks, I'll walk a couple more blocks, maybe I'll walk a couple more. So my experience has always been excellent there, and I'm looking forward to spending more time there. My daughter will be coming up with me, so I'm super excited. She's gonna She just turned 4. So I'm excited to get her up there and get her learning some French as well too. So she'll probably learn much faster than I will, because she's got that that developing brain that's pretty elite. So yeah, I'm excited to have her up there. She'll come up as of June when the season starts, and we're looking at neighborhoods. If you have any suggestions, places to live, places to eat, I want to take all the food and all the suggestions you guys got.
Yeah, we'll have a few for you during springtime, during the training camp. Looking forward to meet you there.
Likewise.
Thank you.
Philippe Asselin.
Hi, and welcome to Montreal. First of all, I just want to know, why was it important for you to start that thing in French and doing Duolingo? You want to learn the culture a little bit?
Absolutely. It's really important to me. I come from a diverse background. You know, I have a little bit of everything mixed in with me. And when I was in the NFL, me and my sister started a nonprofit, and I'm a quarter Salvadorian. So I go back to El Salvador. We went about 6 years in a row, and we did camps and we did all types of stuff to relearn our, piece of ourselves. It's a quarter of who we were. We weren't necessarily fluent in Spanish, but we became pretty functional. And understanding that culture and a piece of ourselves added to the depth of who we were as humans. So when you join a city and you join a team, I think it's really important to learn the language and learn the culture and learn the history. The CFL is so underappreciated and under acknowledged in the history of the game. It's the oldest football league there is. It's twice as old as the NFL. It's got so much more rich history that's not necessarily celebrated. And it's those cities that make up those teams. So I look forward to learning French, and as much as I can. I will be probably terrible at it, but I will get better. But when you join a team, you got to understand the history to try to add to it and to be your best version of yourself.
Thank you.
Pablo Herrera Vergara.
Hi, McLeod. Welcome to Montreal. I wanted to ask, you made starter money last year. How hard it is for you to go back to a backup role this year?
Yeah, you obviously want to play, right? Every competitor wants to be in the fire and wants to be throwing the ball. That's never going to go away. And the day that goes away is probably another indicator that you're ready to move on. So, of course, you'd rather be in a starter position, but that's not the way last year worked out, and that's not the way this offseason worked out. So, like I said before, when I sign your name on the dotted line, it automatically becomes we. It's not I. So it's how can I add to this team? How can we become a better us? I still will approach the game as if I'm a starter. I still will prepare as if I'm a starter. But it's also about supporting a good quarterback room, and whoever's taking the snaps, them being at the best, and them feeling the support of the team and the support of their teammates. Because quarterback is the hardest position in professional sports. So you got enough to deal with the defense in front of you. You don't need to be dealing with any inklings of lack of support from within. So, whoever's the starter, obviously Davis he will have the full support of me, full support of the coaching staff. And how many wins can we stack up? That's all that matters. And
maybe a follow-up question on that. I think Eric mentioned, you've traveled a lot. You've been to the U.S. You played in the U.S. 2 years ago, and Edmonton last year, and now Montreal this year. How much do you think you have left in your tank to give to football?
Yeah, I have too much left, unfortunately. I wish my body was telling me no. I wish my mind was telling me no. Part of me says that. But, yeah, I'm in really good shape. I'm throwing the ball as good as I ever have. I have too much gas left in my tank. So I'm excited to add. Every year I add something different to my game. So this year I'm working on some different Marinovich style training, which is some old school Soviet training that came out in the 70s, is now having a revamp here in the 2020s. So not to go on too much of a tangent, but I always add something to my game, and I always feel like I'm getting stronger. So I have way too many years left. That's probably not healthy for me to be thinking about playing 20 years in professional football. That's probably not a good idea, but at this point, I feel like I could, but we're taking it year by year for sure.
Thank you.
Merci, Pablo. Est-ce qu'il y a d'autres questions? Any other questions? No? Okay. By the way, I'm recording this press conference. So anyone who needs it, please send me an email and I'll send it to you guys. Merci à tous d'avoir été au rendez-vous aujourd'hui. Thank you all for being there today. Thank you to McLeod.